Okay, you know how I drink of this? Good stuff, okay? And speeding up the stuff, man. You're doing a sports drink, man, right? Why? Because I'm gonna drink this and it's good for me. But also that's good for me, man. Water. You gotta do a combination, man. Now as a martial artist, they say, man, what's your combination? I was like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I get a little foot in there. Whoosh. You remember? You know, like the movie? You say, I put this foot beside this side of your head. Whoosh, you know? And I put it this foot beside that side of the head. Okay? And I tell you again, you gotta drink water too, okay? You get dehydrated, your muscles compress, your fingers curl up, you know? I tell you a Coast Guard story about that, hey? I go to this marine, I'm like, hey, you guys got fresh water? He says, yeah. So I fill up my tanks, man. Okay? I get up in the air, you know, with a sailboat. And I'm like, you know, the water's turning all green and stuff. It's like God trying to tell me a message, man. We need green stuff, man. More alternative fuel. That's an alternative fuel vehicle right there, man. You know, that's like a UPS delivering the mail, man, with some quantum physics and stuff. Now check this out. So I get out in the ocean, and they say you can't go more than 3 days without water. You can't go more than 5 days without food. And I'm like, you've never been in one of those places where the soldiers are starving and dying of thirst, and the civilians, man, are out there in the desert needing water, man. And I see all these commercials, donate a dime a day, a quarter a day, 50 cents a day, 70 cents a day. You could feed a child. What? You prolong their torture? How about we fix the education system, and then we send some real heroes over there, you know? So we gotta fix this too, you know? Look at that. Universal Parcel Service, you remember? Remember the guy? He's stranded on the island? He says, Wilson. See what I mean? So I get out there, I call the Coast Guard. I'm like, Coast Guard, whatever I'll do, man. You know, I don't have any water. He's like, well, you got anything else on board? I was like, I already drank the cans of fruit juice. I ate the green beans. I had a lot of green beans, so I drank the green bean juice, you know. I was like, man. And then I got applesauce, so I ate some of that, you know. I'm like, okay. So I got food, no water. I'm like, but there's water all around my boat. I mean, there's water all around my boat, you know. I'm like, man, my boat's up there. It got all kind of water around it. So it says, you know, maybe if we could get ready to refresh. It's Click and Quench, man, by Nestle, you know. Hey, you choose, we deliver, man. So it's like, you know, I mean, how's it get any better than that? So I'm like, man. So I'm out there, I'm in the water, man. And like, don't send search and rescue, you know. Don't send this, man. I knew this other lady, man. I'm just going down the river, man. I broke a little nail, and I'm like, you know, because the prop, and it broke a little key, you know, couldn't spin the prop. So I'm like, I put a nail in there, man, like a little nail. I'm like, and it broke the nail, man. The lady done called the Coast Guard and everything. Got a Coast Guard going up and down the coast looking for me. A bunch of other boats. I get a marine store, man, and they're like, hey, man, some lady is calling for you, the Coast Guard and all kind of stuff, man. I mean, she's looking for you, man. I'm like, you know, she didn't hear from me. I'm like, I'm in a place with no communication. There's no radio signal for my phone or nothing, man. I can't call anybody. I gotta get on the radio, the VHF, man. So I'm like, okay. What if they ain't got a radio tower, man? They can't hear me. Then you're in a lot of trouble. So I go out there in the ocean, man. I'm like 50 or 70, 75 miles or something out in the middle of the ocean, man. And I'm like, yeah, I can't talk. I got to curve back in and get in touch with this Coast Guard, hey? Because on the way over, somebody said, here, give him some water with some no chemicals, no pure water, no filters, no nothing. I grow algae and stuff, and, you know, and all kinds of undrinkable water, man. I don't have anything on the boat to really filter it with. So I says, man, I tell you what, I put a homemade filter with some washcloth stuff and some thin stuff, and it can't get all the microbes and stuff out, but I drink it. Might mess up my stomach, but you know, if it messes up my stomach, then I get a diarrhea, and then I really get dehydrated, and then I'm in a whole lot of trouble. So tell you what, this is what I'll do. I'll open up all the canned foods and drink all the juices out of all the canned foods. And while I'm doing that, I'll settle around and try to double back, but the storm system changed. Now I'm slowing down, and I've got the fuel ratio, man. So I had an internal tank of like 40 gallons. I had an external tank of like 50 gallons. And I'm like, I got 50 gallons and 40 gallons makes 90 gallons. So then I take my run time and I calculate about how much fuel that boat is gonna burn at idle speed at 3 or 4 knots, right? So then I'm like, this is how far I can go. So I got enough gas and then some to go to the port of entry. But I gotta do a big hop from this port all the way over to this port because I can't land at any of these other places. I can't land at any of these other places in between those ports. So I go across the panhandle of Florida, I gotta get to Panama. You know? It's too shallow, not enough water. You know, I'll get stuck, crash into the ground, man. Same thing with an airplane, man. So I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'll try and double back, right? Now, why did I try and double back? Because A, I don't have water. B, if I try to go through that storm, you guys ever seen the movie The Perfect Storm? Now, there wasn't a hurricane out there, but there's a lot of big waves and stuff. And I'm way out there in the ocean. Water supply is done. That's like my fuel supply. My fuel supply is now done. And all I got is my sails. So I got my sails, and I'm like, man, I got sails without an engine? Cool, that's cool. I can still move the boat. I'm out of water. My food supply is running short, as I had to open it up and drink the water to be hydrated. So now that I'm hydrated with the fluid from the liquid out of all the cans, I'm like, well, I'm good to go. I drink all the liquid, right? But now I don't have any food, okay? Because the food's going bad because I had to drink the water that was in the food. And then I go, man, that's pretty messed up. I said, yeah, man. And I tell you what to do next, man. I was like, man, my batteries are running low. Why? Because, you know, somebody broke into my boat and stole all my equipment, so I had to take my boat to another port so I could get repairs without people stealing all the stuff off of it. So now I don't have an engine that's running, so I got no battery charge. And then, wait for it, then I got, you know, I got a hand crank on the Atomic 4. Yeah, that's the best engine ever, man. I could crank the engine, start right up, man, no problem. Don't worry about the electronics. Only problem is, now I don't have fuel to run it. With the Atomic 4, I could tell you some secrets about that. And if I had a few other things there with me, I probably could have started that engine up and rode it right on into shore. But they didn't want me to do that, so I said, maybe I should call the Coast Guard. So I was like, okay. So I call the Coast Guard. I'm talking to the Coast Guard. I'm like, hey, man, I stop at this marina. I get a bad water supply, so no water quality. And if I drink it, I get diarrhea. I get dehydrated. I'm gonna be in real trouble. Hey, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing good, man. This is what about this? It says, well, my fingers ain't starting to curl up yet because, you know, that means I got moisture in my hands and I can still grab stuff without getting cramps. If I can grab stuff without getting cramps, then I know I'm still hydrated. So I check on my mechanical systems here. So I still got mechanical systems, you know. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do now? I says, well, I'll tell you what, I don't see any little birdies flying out here in the ocean, so I probably need to get inland a little bit. I says, okay. So I turned, but I got a cedar key. You see the key? The key to success? And I go, man, all that cedar stuff, like that Navy SEAL stuff. I'm like, yeah, man. So I got a shallow water, man. I can't take my ship through there, man. That's why I had to go around. So I turn around again, man. And I gotta tell you what am I gonna do now? So I'm like, all right, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna drop an anchor, and I'm gonna think about it. And I got all these other ships going through the zone at the same time. So I'm just kind of broadcast every now and then, let them know where I'm at. Why? Because I got no battery source to charge my batteries. My batteries go dead. I got no radio. I'm out there in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to see. As far as the eyes can see, now you're in an airplane. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I drop the anchor, and I broadcast a few position messages. This is where I'm at. This is my position. okay, I'm out of water. I got some bad water at the store, you know. I get out in the ocean, you know. I'm past the point of no return. I'm past the point of no return, man. I got no fuel, no water, and I'm running out of food. I'm like, man. And the Coast Guard, how long you been out there? 3 days, man. You know, you 3 days on the ocean, man, with no water, you in big trouble. So what you talking about? I'm still moving my fingers, man. They're not cramping. I can still do math. Everything's good, man. I says, man, that's pretty impressive. So the 4th day, I'm like, man, I'm on day number 4. And I'm like, man, I'm still trying to get in there. So tell you what, I get just outside Cedar Key. There's 7 feet of water, man. I'm like, 7 feet of water? I'm like, man, I got a big keel on this boat. It'll be dragging the ground if I get a crazy waves or a storm or something again. So I got to abandon ship, but I'm coming back for my ship. He says, whoa, man, that sounds like some Captain Kirk stuff. I says, yeah, man, I did abandon ship, but I'm coming back for my ship. So I says, I tell you what, this is what we'll do. I put in 8 feet of water. I call the Coast Guard, and I says, man, I got no water, no food. And I says, I got a Coast Guard that can come get me. I could get water, put it on the boat, and move the boat, you know? I already had people break into the boat, steal everything off the ship. Now I've got just the bare minimum. I'm taking it to a place so I can get it repaired. And I'm going to tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. They come get me. I go to shore. They drop me off at Cedar Key. I got no money. I got no nothing. I'm here in the middle of nowhere. I just got off the ocean, you know. Now I'm on land. Now I was on the ocean. I felt kind of fine, you know. I was still functioning and stuff. And then I'm like, hey, now I'm getting worse. I got to get into the shore, you know. This is now I get on the land. And it's an island with some sand on it. And I'm in a park around the cement stuff, you know. And I've already created a flow for my body. My body's got this flow, man. I got this flow going, man. And I need moisture, man. So the first place you want to start is my heart. My heart is pumping the fuel, the oxygen, the water, and everything through my veins, through my body. So my hands go, oh, I'm cramping. Because the heart's trying to get close to keep your warmth so you don't die and become cold and get rigor mortis. So I say, okay, I tell you what, I'm going to go lay on this park bench and get us some sleep. And all I got with me is my sail jacket, man. You know what was on the sail jacket? It said Columbia. Spooky, huh? Now I got the Coast Guard, man. They're going, man, remember we picked that guy up in a Columbia jacket? The Space Shuttle Columbia stuff? That's some spooky Space Camp South Carolina, you know, Shuttle Columbia stuff. See the acronyms there? So I say, so a guy comes, he asks me, hey, man, what are you doing here? I says, I'm sleeping on the bench, man. I got my ship, which is my boat, way out there, like 12 miles out in the ocean for the 12 apostles in the Bible. Like, are you kidding me? I says, no, man, it's 12 miles out in the ocean, so I got a tow boat, you know. Tow boat's going to come get me in the morning, take me back to my ship. And he goes, okay, I tell you what, you sleep right there. It says no loitering, man, but where are you going to go? You know, it's we got a bridge over here. It's like 40 miles just to get to land and like another 40 or 80 miles to go to a town. He says, man, what are you going to do, man? It was, you know, can you imagine doing that in the desert? Jesus, you know? So I'm like, I tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. He says, you sleep right there on that bench. Nobody will bother you. I says, what are you talking about? I'm balled up in a ball as it is, man. What do you mean? I mean, I'm covered in this jacket, man, and mosquitoes are like crazy on that island. Like, man. So I cover up in the jacket, man. It kind of keeps some of the mosquitoes off me. We'll go in the morning, man. I go down and have some breakfast. Next thing you know, Towboat USA show up, man. Yeah, man. Towboat US, you know. Universal Space Force, man. He just dropped the F off the end and didn't know. You know. He show up and he says, man, I'm going to get you some water. I says, man, I'll take 40 gallons of water. He goes, 40 gallons of water? I says, yeah, I'll take 40 gallons of water. Why you need 40 gallons of water? I'll tell you in a minute. Okay? And then I'm going to take, you know, like 40 or 50 gallons of gas. You know, because I'm at halfway point, you know. And I got more than enough to go. But I got wind, the storm's gone. I'm like, we're going to sail, say. And he says, man, but you're dehydrated. You sure you don't need to go to the hospital? I'm like, hospital, man, what are you talking about? I said, you get me 40 gallons of water and 40 or 50 gallons of gas. You get it here on this dock. I got a GPS position, and we're gonna take that boat. all the way back out to my boat with a dead battery, engine's done, everything's done, and we're gonna put it on that boat with nothing out there in the middle of the ocean. I'm gonna take that boat and I'm gonna sell it over to Mississippi so I can tell those Mississippi people, y'all believe in God now, man? And they're like, ain't no way. I said, oh, watch this. So the towboat guy come up, he picks me up, gives me a bunch of water, got the gas and everything. He says, man, you know, they charge you this much for water, but I tell you what, today I'm gonna go get your water from a dollar store, man. You know, everything's $1 there. So, you know, your fuel's gonna cost you a price, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the gas station, you know, and I'm gonna get your gas in the gas station, man. And then, you know, Cito, you know, at the base Cito, you know, or Towboat US or whoever it was. I don't remember who it was, man. It doesn't matter. It was a towboat, okay? So anyways, it was Cito. There you go. Yeah, man. It was Cito. So Cito comes out there, man. And it's like, man, over there in the panhandle, man. It's like Cito comes out there. He's like, man, I tell you what, we're gonna throw you back out to your Cito boat, man. Your Cito? Yeah, man. Cito, man. You know, that's the officer's wisdom, man. The captain of the ship. He says, I tell you what, take that captain back out to the sailboat, and he's gonna ride out the Mississippi, man, with it. He goes, are you sure, man? I says, yeah. Let me tell you what the guy does, man. We get out there, my engine won't start. And man, you got all this fuel stuff. I said, can you jump start me? He says, yeah, man, I'll jump start you. I was like, we don't have cables for that, man. No cables for a jump start? Are you kidding me? I said, I tell you what, this is a special engine. They're like, it's a special engine. I said, yeah, it's a very special engine. You don't know about the Atomic 4? I said, I got a hand crank in here. If I need to, I'll hand crank this boat. But the problem is I got a resistor in between. You know, I got a resistor in between, and it drops the voltage so it doesn't cook the spark pod. You know, So I'm like, man. So we got a little atomic spark little thing, and it puts the spark into the combustion chambers and makes the engine do its thing. You know, with the Atomic 4. So I got a hand crank, and he said, man, that's pretty cool. I says, man, let me tell you what, World War II planes, man, they used to 1, 2, contact, look out for the blade. You know, we died out there one morning, just we're gonna come around and hit you in the head. And they tell you, hey, there's 2 ways you can die, man, before you take off in a plane. They're like, hey, man, when you say contact, make sure you step back and out of the way, and plus get a little lean into it, man, if you have to, because you know if that goes around and it kicks over just right in the right temperature, that propeller blade might suck you into it. If you're standing at the wrong angle, take your head off, man. Clear off, man. That's the scary stuff. So, like, I tell you what, the other way is, you go, contact, right? So it's like, man, I tell you what, you got Atomic 4? Hey, and they're like, man, you remember Henry Ford, man? He had that little handle. We put that on the propeller blade, man. Now you stand in front of the plane, you put the handle on the propeller thing, contact, woof, and then the magneto go in there, and then you get sucked into the blade. You're like, oh man, you know, like you gotta be kidding me. I was like, yeah, man. So I'll tell you what. So we got there, we're on the boat. I'm floating here, he's floating there, man. It's a big sailboat, man. We can't even see it until we get a few miles in range, man. And it's got a big mast on it, man, like a 42-foot mast, man. You got a little bit of waveage. Man, I can't even see that sailboat coming. And I can't even hear it. I don't even know where it is, man. So a lot of people put little radar reflectors up there, so maybe when they bounce up, they see a tick, tick, tick. Now somebody asked me, man, this is my flight instructor, he goes, hey, man, he's playing games with me. He's like, I want to be funny, man. You know we got a landing strip? You know why they got the tick, tick, tick? Is to remind the pilots, man, when they're flying under radar. It's like, not just under radar, man. You got the big waves. You bounce off a signal off a wave, man, and go the other direction, man, or something. Nobody ever know, man. So, like, you know, sailboats figure that out, man. The sailors, you get it? So they said, I'll tell you what. Put a radar reflector on top of our mast, man. And then what happens, it's like a radio repeat tower. So we had sailboats out there repeating signals, you know, until we could get better stuff built and get those satellites up there and running again and stuff, you know. So I'll tell you what, I says, I need you to start this thing. So he says, man, okay. So he pulls the battery out of his boat, right? And this is where faith for faith and trust for trust comes. That guy doesn't even know me, man. He says, hey, this is crazy Captain Kirk, man, out here on this boat. He's on a ship in the water, man. We got to go do this thing. So he says, somebody calls him up and he says, man, this is Angel Force 1, man. I need you to take that towboat out there in the middle of the water, 12 miles out to the 12 apostles, talk to Mr. Kirk, and figure out what you got to get on that boat, and then make sure he gets on his way. Okay? And they go, oh, you mean underway? Well, they say underway because the submarines, man, are underway. Under the water, trying to make a way. That's why they say in the Navy, hey, on a submarine, they say, hey, make a hole, we're coming through with supplies. And then we go, now we're going to try a slingshot thing and say, make a hole, we're going to, whoosh, and hope it lands, you know? We're making supplies. And says, I tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. Look, they got some reappropriated aircraft over there painted gray, man. They don't know what they're going to do with them because the purpose is something. What the guy told me, we could do some stuff with that after the ultralight stuff, man. I mean, there's reappropriation. That's what my dad used to call it in the Navy, okay? So I get on this boat. He pulls the battery out of his boat. He says, here you go. He hands it over. You know, I'm like, I grab the battery. I go down the engine compartment. I do a little jumper because I got jumper cables in there, you know, just for that reason. He said, come in, you have jumper cables that won't reach, but you sell jumper cables? You never know what a sailboater has on his boat, man. They got all kinds of stuff. They're like, hey, I put this battery right here. I take out jumper cables. I start the engine. The boat's moving again. Whew. Now I'm charging my batteries. Why? Well, I had wind. I put the sails up, and I'm sailing through the ocean, man. No problem. Storms are gone. Now I'm charging the battery systems, and I got, I got a radio. All right, Coast Guard. This is Captain Kirk, man. We're moving and grooving again. Through the water we go. You know? So now I'm going through the water again, man. I get over there. Now remember, I was dehydrated. That's just the day before. Now I'm on the Coast Guard boat, and we're sitting on this motorcycle looking thing, man. I'm drinking water. It says, you need more water? I'm like, yeah, man. So I drink a couple bottles of waters, and then I stop. They're like, why would you stop drinking water, man? You're dehydrated. I says, because the worst thing you can do is you're dehydrated is drink too much water. Why? Because your body can only absorb so much water at a time. That's why sometimes they got to put an IV in your arm and put some saline solution into your bloodstream, speed up the process of your body taking in the water. I'm out there in the desert with no water, and I'm eating salt like crazy, and I have no way of getting water. The salt in your body, you can't shed it. So if you start drying out and shriveling up, man, and God, you don't want to know. So I says, all right. So I got the boat moving again. I got the motor running at idle speed. I know how much fuel it burns, about a quarter gallon per hour in an atomic 4. Most people say half gallon per hour, but if you have it properly tuned with a proper mechanical pump and everything else, mechanical pump, yeah, man. You know why mechanical pump? Because if it had an electric pump, then it's constantly flowing at this pressure. Now, the thing about the atomic 4 engine, why it's such a beautiful sailboat engine, is because it came from the aeronautical space industry, man. For sailboats, for helicopters, for airplanes. They use that thing in so many things you don't even know, man. So, I had a mechanical pump. Why? Different altitudes, different humidity levels, things like that, affects the way that mechanical pump works. Like, man, I never thought about it like that. I said, yeah, man. And then the greater reduction is building up pressure, need more, need more, need less, you know? So it's like, oh, so I'll tell you what. So I get in there and I'm running my engine. I got it at idle speed. Everything's perfectly. I done took the covers off, got everything done. It's a flathead, man. Hey, you know those panhead motorcycles driving around? Panheads, man. Remember the flathead atomic 4? Now I got my valve covers on the side, and I got my valve cover on this, and I said, man, now I got an upgraded extended shaft, for the water pump, so I could put the other stuff in there that you couldn't put on the original engine. And I says, man, that's some Moyer Marine, Space Marine stuff, man. I told you we got Space Marines. So I tell you, I get in the boat, I'm charging the batteries. It take about a quarter gallon per hour, man. I'm like, Ken, I got a quarter gallon per hour. I says, remember I told you, Captain Kirk's tricorders for triangulation, quarter gallon per hour. So I got a quarter gallon per hour, man. And I'm riding through the roads, and I'm like, man, I got a wave. And I'm like, man. Now remember, I'm dehydrated, man. So I'm drinking the water. So I'm sitting back, I'm cruising, man. I got all this little stuff, man. I'm drinking the water. I get up towards Panama, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to get into Panama, and I see this weird stuff. My eyes playing tricks on me at nighttime. I'm like, my eyes are playing tricks on me at nighttime. I said, that's cool. So I went ahead, and I'm like, hey, I called up the Coast Guard. Hey, you guys got any craps over in this area, man? I'm seeing some weird stuff. I might have saw a submarine or something. I don't know, man. He's like, no, we had no reports of that. This is okay, cool. That's the eyes playing trick on me, okay. Now I just go in there and be careful. So I go to Panama. I get in there and I'm like, boom, I drop the anchor, I get some sleep, and I'm drinking water. I stay there for about a half a day. I get rehydrated, and I probably should have hydrated some more. And I get back out on the ocean. I continue with my trip. So then I go, man, telling me you've been on a boat, dehydrated, going through the water. Yeah, man, because if you're dehydrated and you're hot and you're drinking the water, okay, at your cells, at your cellular level, you're throwing water at it, and expansion. So they tell you drink slow. So they say heat rises, it compresses. This is what you're talking about, man. You go up to the space station, heat rises and it compresses. No, it doesn't. Heat rises when it gets to the edge of space and time, then it kind of compresses. Why? Because all the cold and water that's been up there is starting to stick to each other, like magnetism. They see a ball of water and they don't understand why it floats in a circle in space. I'll explain it to you. It evaporates. It spreads apart. It starts collecting stuff, just like when the dandelion grows out of the ground. You got a yellow stuff, right, for the sunshine, and then it turns white, and then it spreads, right? And then it drops into the earth, and then it grows out, and it starts collecting the water, and bringing it down, and compressing. Nice soil to grow your crops and trees and stuff. And it goes, man, now that evaporates, it goes up, it spreads apart, and then the other stuff around it starts adding to it, all right? Now you're getting an atomic structure building, and it goes, right? And it gets up there, and you got all this other stuff, and it's sprinkling it like salt and pepper up there at the edge of the world, man, out there, the atmosphere, at the edge of space, man, time and space, and you just sprinkle a little bit, man, and then you're building up and out, and then now you got atmosphere. Okay? Pretty cool, right? Okay, I tell you what. That's a little bit about the physics and atomic structure of flight.